If a vehicle blocks the crosswalk?
Yeah.
Not a pedestrian?
What?
Not a pedestrian?
Get on comments.
So here's your crosswalk?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Cars right,
Yeah, right there.
right there?
It was a 7 by 2.
And you're trying, and what are you trying to do? Left or right or straight?
Did you sign off? Give me a cup.
What I did is like, I was looking at the lights next to me and changed I went in front.
Yeah.
You went like this?
I would.
Or like this?
Well, like, I went in the back, it was like right on the corner, so I went inside, I looked in the back.
And you had space here, and where were you trying to go? Well, this truck was trying to go where? The truck is trying to go straight? And you're trying to go where?
Behind me.
Just follow it?
No, I was on the crosswalk. Special.
So this is you?
No.
Alright, come here.
I'm right here.
Oh, you're walking!
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're a driver here. Oh, wow, I get you. Okay, so this just happened right here because of rush hour and you're trying to get across, and he doesn't have the green any longer.
No, it's red.
It's red, and so he stopped. Yeah, I know. You're risking your health and life and limb. I wouldn't say that. This way and watch for reverse lanes. I'm sure there's back in it, you will see it. Wow. Happens all the time.
So, I'm sitting there and I have like my bag and I'm walking from school.
Don't laugh at me.
I feel like we've been less struggle to go one at a time. Nice back.
All right, who here?
Hey!
Who here's been in a crash? Who's experienced one?
I feel like we all have.
This is kind of
We should all, but yeah. Actually, on average, you experience a crash once every 10 years in the course of your life. That's about right. Cooper, have you been in a crash?
Yeah.
You've been in one? What kind of crash?
It was their fault.
I backed into a tree on 20.
Yeah, there you go. You got it out of your system. That's the first one. All right. Sarah,
Yes.
you crash?
Yeah.
What?
Okay. It's gonna be a little racist, but the driver runs through a stop sign. I'm not gonna say what kind of driver. We all know what kind of driver.
Stop driver. Run the stop sign.
Exactly. And we're in the snow, and I put on my brakes and
Couldn't do it.
yeah.
And you hit the, who'd you hit?
What?
Who'd you
Oh,
hit?
I kind
The
of,
back
I
end.
turned, so it went with the car instead of T-going.
That's pretty
I just
good.
like hit the little edge.
Did you guys hear that?
We talked about this a while ago.
That's good. That's, yeah, it's called, basically you're minimizing the impact by
Going with the
positioning
flow.
your car. It's inevitable you guys are gonna get in a crash.
Go with the flow.
But you try to, yeah, you try to go with it so the momentum is going with the vehicle that you're hitting or that's hitting you. All right? That's why this doesn't work so well. Head on. Okay? So if you see something like that, you'd go where? Head on.
Anywhere.
Where?
To the side.
Which side?
Right side.
Go to the right, go to the right. Turn to the right, turn to the right. Okay? That's what we are, right-handed drivers. But now they're coming in T-bone at you like that, and you know you can't speed up past them. So now what do you do? Oh, and now you're going into it.
Right. And they
So
slow
now
down.
go like that, and so yeah, they might glance off you, or at least it's less of an impact. You're pointing that way. Better to be hit like that from behind rather than go forward into somebody head-on collision. Just why we talked about impact effect yesterday. Okay, so it's inevitable you're going to have a crash. What do you do? What is you guys? We're going to test you here later on in the hour. 20-question test. You need to know this stuff about what you're responsible for as a motorist. After a crash, immediately, what are you going to do? Number one, no, not yet.
Get their information. Get out
That's
of
a little bit later. Definitely think 911. Do what? Say it again.
Pull off to the side.
You don't want to get hit again, do you?
Get out of the way.
Yes. So, move car.
Move car,
Move
get
vehicle
information.
to safe.
Move car, get information. Call out and wife.
Safe place. Not yet, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. There's a few more steps in between.
You just said move.
Bogdan, put the phone away. Number 2, after you move the vehicle to a safe place, now what do? Say it again. That's one of the most common errors that people leave the engine running. But what's happened to your vehicle?
It's damaged.
It's damaged, so then it's what?
Short
It's
circuit.
leaking, you can have a short circuit. Turn it off. Turn off vehicle. Okay? Ignition off. If it's roll over, what's happened?
It's already off.
Maybe. Sometimes it does. You guys know what a pit maneuver is?
When you get hit from the back and you
By whom?
like anyone, a cop.
Could be, yeah, could be a cop. Oh, cop car. Cop car. Yeah. Here's a pit maneuver. Somebody's eluding an officer, right? And they come in behind like this and pit. Okay, right in the back tail end. So that it spins them out of control. And that generally will cut your engine off, too. Okay, and then
Skip the first step.
Sure. Skip the first step. Okay. After turning the vehicle off, then you got to make sure about what? It's a crash.
Assess.
Assess what?
Situation.
Yeah, you're dealing with first aid stuff. First aid. You guys ever take a class or done CPR or
Yes.
anything like that? Okay, so that's part of your assessing. You're checking for what? First injuries to whom? Yes, good. Just like you're in an airplane, who gets the oxygen mask first? You, so you can help others out. So check yourself, see if you're okay. See if you're bleeding. All right, any pain anywhere? Obviously, you're going to be in what? Shock. You're going to feel something. So be careful. Don't get up and wander around. A lot of people do that. They're in shock, and so they get out and they wander around. Where's the car, guys?
Still blown up.
Maybe. And by other vehicles. They're trying to get where? Past you. Yeah, they don't want to be caught in behind you. So first aid. Sarah? First aid. If you don't supply first aid to people, are you culpable? Are you liable by law for the injuries to the...
Yes.
Are you?
Caused the crash.
Huh?
You caused the crash.
If you caused the crash? Well, in the book we say, yeah, try to check on them. I mean, if they're bleeding, what are you going to do?
Patch it up.
Patch it, or at least
Pressure.
hold it, put some pressure on it, help them out. But if you don't do it, you're not culpable.
And sew that up.
If you do it and they end up dying, guess what?
You manslaughter.
No. Nice try. It's called Good Samaritan law. Okay?
Good try.
Good Samaritan.
No, what you're taught is to always shout your name. Hi, my name's Rachel Allen and I'm here to help you. Is that all right? And then you go over to the...
That's the routine. That's actually right. And if they're unconscious, you try to
Wake 'em
shake
up
them a
and
little
rub
bit,
their
see if you
Not
can
if they're
just
straight.
assure them. What?
Not if they're a stranger, you kick them.
No, don't kick them.
No, that is what you tap them.
Yeah, just, and just tell them that you're there to help, you're there to assist. If they refuse help, what do you do?
You don't do help them.
If they're weak,
If they're-
you can just sit there and figure it out.
And then they go unconscious, and now what?
Then you help them.
And then you can help them. Why? Because it's called implied consent. You guys know the implied consent. When it comes to assisting people in first aid, the fact that they're unconscious is telling you that, oh, they want to be conscious. So you can help them out and not, again, not risk getting sued. Good Samaritan law. That'll apply. Do what you can with first aid, but don't try to move somebody from inside. Bogdan?
Their vehicle.
I'm going to move you.
And you
I'm going to move you.
You should injure them more.
Okay. If they're injured inside the vehicle, and maybe they're complaining of what?
neck,
Head, neck, back, okay, what should you do?
Tingly leg.
Don't touch. You're not probably equipped to handle moving somebody in traction. And you need certain equipment in order to do that. Okay, a C-collar, maybe a backboard or something, okay, and let the firefighters do that. What if the car's on fire? probably just pull them out, yeah. Again, implied consent.
Death?
You probably don't want to die by, fire, immolation, asphyxiation, etc. Okay, so first aid. You've done that, now what? Maybe at the same time. You guys said it earlier, that's it, yeah. Get 911 active. And you can have somebody else do that while you're assisting first aid.
Is it like you see an accident, you can call them out if you're like,
You don't-
around?
I don't have to, the only time, here's the law, okay? You're supposed to call within 72 hours. If there's what? Three things. One of three things. Say it again. Injury. One. Injury, death,
$700.
or damage equaling how much?
700.
You guys, how'd you know that?
We learned it yesterday.
Because I focus.
You focus. $7
I'm
damage.
multitasking, I'm just phone texting.
Nice.
Listening.
Okay? This is definitely on your test. Definitely on your test. Any combination of these things. And you're required by law to inform whom?
The police.
Yeah, we say WSP. Anybody know what that says? Yeah, Washington State Patrol needs to be informed. You fill out what's called a collision report. You can do it by yourself, or you just call it in. So you don't necessarily have to call 911, but the police have to be informed. Okay? Why this delay? Should you delay?
No.
If you cause a crash, yeah, call right away, because you want their assistance anyway to kind of look at the crash scene. Assess where the position of the vehicles are. Who's really at fault? Who else do you want to have involved?
Insurance companies.
Even before that?
The other
Medics.
Other people that are
witnesses.
witnesses. Good. Awesome. Witnesses. Say it again?
Have the top down.
Shh. Can't hear it. Can you check
When do
them?
you check on the other people to get
Right away after you check on yourself and the people who are occupants in your vehicle.
before you come
Yeah, check on them right away. Okay? You can just be walking over to them to check on them and calling 911 at the same time. Okay? I told you about that rollover I was at, right? That's what I was doing. I was calling 911 at the same time. But guess what? So many people will call 911. It's found that somebody else will happen to be doing that. So you can just attend to somebody. Okay? Witnesses. What do you want to do with witnesses? This is real critical. You don't want them talking amongst themselves. You want to do what?
Separate.
Separate people. Separate as best as possible. Because you want, an unbiased interpretation of what happened, what they saw. You might not get it completely clean and pure an interpretation, but still, you don't want them talking amongst themselves. I saw her do this. No, she didn't really do, no, she did this. And now the other person's influenced by that. Oh, they must be right. They're older than I. Okay? Separate them out. Don't get them talking amongst themselves. That'll be better. Of course, if you're with your parents, encourage them to do that. They're probably in shock too themselves. Right?
I was definitely.
You were definitely in shock. Tell us about your experience.
Well, I was in a sister's car coming home, and they were dropping me off at my friend's house. So me and my friend were in the back seat, and I was going 40 and she go by. There was like 40, 45, like over the speed limit, like 15 or 20, and because he was going uphill and it was just like 40, I guess. And we were following too close.
You were in the suit
I was
car?
in the car in front.
You? Oh, in the car in front. So you were following too close to her.
No, two, it was one in front.
Everyone
Like
was
there was one car
following too
below.
close
Oh.
to her car. So, the guy in front of
It's
them
not my pen,
slammed
mine
on the
doesn't
brakes
click.
and she turned
Who?
really fast, I guess.
Sorry.
And then, so the guy in front of us slammed on his brakes and he was following too close and we slammed into them.
There you go. Who's at fault for that?
He,
Yeah, that's right. A lot of people think that if you, like if the person that you're following stops so suddenly that you end up hitting them.
Rear-end crashes are always the person that hit the other.
That's right. Yeah, for that very reason. That's why we teach you the following distance rule. The sight distance rule. You always got to stay back. Keep off them. That's it. That's your number one escape route, right up front. So back it off. Very good. Okay, so you get your witness statements, get them talking. What else? What other information are you getting?
phone numbers,
Phone numbers.
Name.
insurance.
Contact.
info.
Yes, all this info. Okay, now let's talk about, everybody got the law?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Info. This is really the subject of our lesson today. Okay? Information. You want what? You want insurance, name and number. What else? The contact information. The license plate or license? How about another number that's on the vehicle, just to make sure? Yeah, it's an ID. It's called the VIN. Everybody know what the VIN is?
No.
The VIN is right up, typically, easily to spot if you're outside the vehicle, right at the driver's side of the windshield. There's a little strip there, and it's got these long alphanumeric, okay, string of letters and numbers, and you write it down very carefully. That is the car's ID. They could have stolen the license plates off of something. You know? So that's not going to help ID them. But track them down by this, the VIN. Write down the license plate, that's good. Also get what from the driver? Name and driver's license, that's it exactly, yeah. That will also help track them down for you, okay? Try to gather this. And then I always do this with our drive cars and with my own personal stuff. And you guys have it on you at all times anyway. What do you do with your phone?
Picture.
Take pictures. Document that scene. That's right. Take lots of pictures. Hold it up. Okay? All right? All right. Hopefully they have insurance.
Yes.
Yeah, nice try. If they can't afford insurance, do they have money from which to
No.
pay you out? No, probably not. This is the law now. Insurance. What are people supposed to have by way of insurance in this state? And guess what? 3 out of 10 drivers on this side of the Cascades don't have it.
Liability.
Liability, that's the word. Big word of the day. Liability. What does that mean? Cooper?
It means you cover the other person's car, not your own.
That's right. It's another way, fancy way for saying you're responsible.
It's your liability.
You're liable for it. Now, do you have to have insurance that covers the damage to your car?
No.
No, you don't. You might want to if you got a nice expensive vehicle that you want to keep on the road. You can't afford a $3,000-4,000 repair job on it. So you get something that's called collision. That's when you're responsible for your own vehicle, getting it back on the road. Collision. Right?
No.
That's not liability. You're not required by the law, in other words, to pay for your own repairs of your own vehicle. But because you did something to somebody else, okay, now you're responsible. So, how much are you responsible for? This is where it gets kind of nitty-gritty. You got to know these numbers. What are you responsible for? Yeah. So, now that's a little different. Whose tree is it? No one. It's yours? Okay. Homeowner's insurance, maybe? If you don't have the vehicle insurance that would cover it, you might dip into there. That would be what's called comprehensive.
So, collision and comp.
Collision comp often go together as part of a full coverage. There's a little something extra I'll tell you about in a second. All right, comprehensive. If you don't have that, then you know, if you're at somebody else's house and the tree falls, like you guys, I told you, right, that we had an arson fire in one of the drive cars last week. Did I tell you? That blue Mustang used to be out here, nice big white stripes and everything. My favorite, a lot of fun to drive. But somebody blew up the car right next to it, where it was parked for repair. And because it was so engulfed, it was a Tahoe, engulfed in flames, it just melted the side of the car, side of the Mustang.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, it still drives actually. So we're going to get it repaired, but I probably won't use it as a drive car anymore, just personal vehicle. Now, what covers that? It's an attack. It's something. It's violence. It's arson. You know, like vandalism. It's a crime. Somebody just walked onto the property, by the way, and torched it. So they didn't have a vehicle. What? Comprehensive. Again, anything that's of in a legal nature too could be covered under your comprehensive plan. Like somebody just steals your CD player, okay, rips it out, or they puncture your tires, or they steal the vehicle itself and break the window as a part of a car problem. Good, all that stuff. Does it cost much? No, not really. Collision typically costs more, especially based on what some sorts of things.
What car you
Type of
have?
car.
What type of car you got? What was it?
I said the kind of car.
Yeah, more expensive, of course. The fancier the vehicle, the what?
Who you are.
Who you are. Like, yeah, they actually go after personal information these days. Your credit rating, your
if you're
age,
single,
single.
and
You gonna pay more?
Now my dad is a single male raising kids, and so he so much raising.
Well, is that because you're on, or other
No,
siblings
it's
are on that
because
car
he's
insurance?
a single male with kids.
That shouldn't be right. That's wrong. I'll give him my insurance agent. Tell me. Tell him and I'll give it to him. Because, yeah, that shouldn't be happening. He's a responsible individual. Doesn't have anything on his record, anything like that. I pay out maybe $150 a month for about 5 cars on the plan. Yeah. Our commercial insurance is a lot different. By law, your driver's ed cars actually have to have liability totaling different numbers than this. If you damage somebody else's car, the law says you have to be able to pay up to a certain amount. How much do you think you'd want to be able to cover in terms of dollar signs?
3,000.
$3,000. Is that your average car on the road?
10,000.
Cost of damages.
$10,000. $10,000. The average new cost of a car is $17,000 these days. That's the average new. Okay, and there are a lot of new cars, but a lot of old ones too. So where are you driving? You driving in Normandy Park area of West Seattle? Beverly Hills, like area? Now you've got vehicles that are maybe in the $40, $50, $60, $80,000 range. Is that going to be enough? The law requires you to have this, but maybe you personally want to have more. That's just property damage. What else do you do to people in crashes?
You heard him.
You heard him. So now they have what kinds of expenses? Medical. How much do you need to cover for putting a person in the hospital?
1,000, I don't know.
How much?
13,000.
13,000? Nope. More. Almost there. 25. You got it. Do you remember that from a test someplace? This is definitely on your knowledge exam. Knowledge exam, your final in here. $25,000 damage for one person injured and going to the hospital, ER, etc. But now you got to do medical for all. This is medical for one. Medical for all. You put a whole minivan, you know, of the family into the hospital. Okay. How many?
Is this how many you want, like how much you want to save? Or?
This is how much your insurance company has to front you in the event you send that whole minivan family load people into the hospital.
40. That's just
40, almost there.
75.
50. It's only twice as much. But what's the cost of ER visits today? And staying in the hospital and the surgery that comes as a result, or even just the medication, the fluids. My splenectomy, I told you I had that crash when I was 17. My spleen ruptured. That alone, back in 1982, was $40,000. What was that, 30 years ago? Okay? Now, how much do you really want to have coverage now? And this is what I do with my personal vehicles. I'll tell you what we have to do with our drive cars later. How much do you want to have? How many people in that car you send to the hospital?
3.
3, okay? 3 times what? If my surgery alone was just 40,000,
Oh, okay.
how much do you want?
You want like
Maybe 150,000? How about $150,000 coverage?
Whoa!
Here's what I do.
You're still going high.
$300,000 coverage. Liability
I'll make my own
for sending somebody to the hospital, or if one of my kids do. Okay? Why? Because you don't want to, what you said earlier, I think, Rachel, sued. You don't want to get sued.
Huh?
Do you have that kind of money on hand to just pay for all those
My
expenses?
briefcase.
You're responsible for it by law. Well, actually, you guys aren't responsible. Yeah, say it again, Keegan. You guys hear?
Parents.
Where are they going to find that kind of money from your parents? Where?
Retirement.
Your house. You'll lose your house, maybe. So get this extra coverage. Remember, more than likely, when you get hit by somebody else on the road, they're not going to, what? Have insurance. So, what do? Cooper, how do you protect yourself if they don't have insurance?
Then you have to get insurance yourself.
Insurance to cover when they hit you? Yeah. And they don't have insurance? Yeah. It's called uninsured motorist insurance. You get yourself insurance for when they hit you and they're not insured. $300 for liability. Property damage, maybe do $100,000 or something like that. Bogdan.
So if you hit them and you have insurance, they don't.
You hit them, they have insurance, you don't, you
No,
get both.
you have insurance, they don't.
Oh, you have it, okay. You still have to pay out, you're responsible. Now they'll get a ticket, for driving without insurance. You guys know how much that is these days? $580 for driving
You have
without
to pay
insurance.
for your stuff still?
What's that?
You still have to pay for your stuff?
You'll still have to pay for their stuff, yeah.
Not with your own car.
For your own car, you don't have to. And if you don't have collision, you're not putting it back on the road unless you have that kind of repair money just sitting in your bank. First Amanda and then back to Cooper. You just remember your hand was up and you forgot what you're doing there. Okay, Cooper?
Is there such thing as like an equal crash when it's like both people's fault?
That's a great question.
Like this person isn't paying attention, this person wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention. It's like,
Not in this state. In other states, yeah. In California, for instance, there's a mutual at fault. They can split up the percentages of who's really at fault, the majority versus the minority of the time in that instance. Amanda?
I remember what it is. Okay. If they don't have insurance, don't they have to like sell something that they own?
They might have to, yeah, in order to cover those kinds of expenses. It'll go to litigation. You guys know what that is? It'll go before a judge in civil court. And you're entitled to recoup those damages. But they don't have it. You might be able to go after, well, don't they work? Do they have some money coming in? Garnish their wages, that's it exactly. You might be able to, entitled to do that sort of thing. But a judge would have to sign off on it. Okay? It gets messy. It's best just to have that uninsured motorist vehicle insurance, and it only costs like $8 a month. And we have it for our drive cars because more than likely if we get hit, we never crash a car. We don't do that sort of thing with drive cars. But other people could hit us. That happened last summer. Somebody ran into the back end of the Mustang 2 there, but it didn't do much damage. Too solid. We have to have $1 million worth of coverage for liability when we're responsible, and $1 million worth of coverage for that other person that's uninsured when they hit us. So if you guys get injured, killed, God forbid, and then there's money to pay out, even if they can't. Right? That's the law for us. Everybody got the numbers? What's the what?
1 million.
That's for liability for our commercial driving cars, plus also for uninsured motorists. Insurance for us when we're out there driving with y'all. Just,
We have to know how much money that is worth.
you don't have to know that. It's good to know though, isn't it? Make sure you're covered.
What if you get hit by like a school bus or like a public bus?
Yeah, that's a great one. Okay, so there are 3 groups that are actually exempt from having insurance. Great point.
What?
Yeah, certain people don't have to have insurance.
Are you kidding me?
And they're still out there driving. Who are they? There you go, common carriers,
Truck driver.
common carriers. Truck drivers still have to have it
Okay, that's good.
because they would be a commercial carrier or cargo hold. Common carriers like the buses, like you were talking about. And police,
What happens if you
Public-
get in a crash with them?
Well, like, give me your money.
services, like police, who else?
Motorcycles.
Fire, motorcycles is the
Definitely
third one.
have to have
What?
Yeah,
it. Motorcycles?
motorcycles don't have to have it. Is that a good
Okay,
thing?
You can't.
No.
Why? Why not?
Because they do damage too.
Yeah, they do. A
They don't
1,200-pound
have
Harley
car.
can really do some damage to the front end of the vehicle going head on. Say again, man?
They don't do original steering of the car.
Okay, so the car does a lot more damage and injury
You only
to the
kill yourself.
motorcyclist. Yeah, most motorcyclists, like I told you before, kill themselves more often in this state than anything else. So maybe they should have it for themselves, to protect themselves from other drivers and from themselves. Guess they crash. Guess what? Motorcycle insurance costs how much a year? $100. That's all it is. It's so cheap. Yeah, so cheap, so inexpensive. It's usually the other guy's fault, typically, although not in this state, but still. It behooves one to go ahead and purchase that. How much does it cost you guys, though, for your car insurance? How much? Girls should pay about $100, $120 a month. Guys, guess what?
Insurance is
Maybe up to
expensive.
$300 a month. depending on what you
Oh my
buy.
god.
Teen boy, the two-door car, it's 500.
Wow. For your vehicle, which vehicle?
Well, no, it's just a two-door vehicle for a teen boy. 500.
You might want to shop around, of course, and use your traffic safety certificate you get from us
Yep.
to bargain, to negotiate for
Our
a
years are
better rate.
deals.
Who gets better rates, girls or guys?
Girls.
Girls.
Grades help too.
Your grades help by this
That
much,
makes a lot
I'll
of
say.
sense. Really.
0.3.
5%. 5% discount for good grades. And you have to have what?
A's.
Not quite.
Above the
3.0.
Oh, that's
3.0 or higher, and then you can get a discount.
Stupid.
But that's only 5%. But
Who's
you're-
driving is not related by their grades.
It's not as much as if you just did driver's ed. You can get upwards of 25 to 50% off for traffic safety education. 25 to
Where's the
50%.
card at?
Huh?
Where's the card?
The card,
We get it at the end of the class.
you get it at the end of the class. And now we do it online too.
Is this traffic safety?
Yes.
I get like 35%.
25 to 50%.
Maybe.
off
Or
insurance.
55%.
Some-
Grades and 50%.
Yeah, load it all up. You bet. How about your car? Can your car allow you to get a discount?
Yeah.
Yeah, why? It's got what?
If you have like 4 doors, it's less. I know that.
4 doors rather than
If it's like
a,
a station wagon. it's
rather than a
less.
roadster? Yeah, GT. Light trucks are really actually, they're a little bit more expensive. They're the second most commonly crashed vehicle, light trucks. So not necessarily.
But they're cheaper than sports cars.
True. Think of what though you can put on the vehicle or what the vehicle comes equipped with. And that helps lower your rate. What could you do? Airbags, airbags, absolutely. What else? Keep going. Side impact airbags on vehicles. What else? To keep it safe from steel. An alarm. An alarm. Secure it where? There's 3 places you can secure the vehicle. Where?
Garage.
In the garage, best rate. Where? Where else?
Parking lot.
Driveway or parking lot, next best, and then street. Yeah, worse.
Wait, so you get a rate like
Yeah.
Depending on where
Yeah.
you park your car, yeah.
How about you guys that live here? Versus 9119. You guys know where that is?
No.
Queen Anne Hill. Some parts of it.
What?
All right. Who's gonna pay more?
What about like taps?
They'll pay more. Lake taps? Good question. I don't know. It's probably further out. Mostly residential? Commercial, unresidential? Mostly residential? Probably a little less. This is Auburn. Yeah, we can stick it to Auburn.
Wait, that's all.
What else would factor into your rates?
Why, that is doing
No, 90892?
Yep. All the-
Find out and ask your parents how much they pay, or how much they're going to have to pay for you once you get added. Never get added as the driver of one of the vehicles. You'll pay out too much. In other words, it's your own car, it's not. I've always put my kids' cars in my name. I put it in their name, guess what? Costs more. Costs a lot more for insurance. Okay? It's always in your parents' name.
Wait, but so when they're grabbing the car, they don't get any money back, though, right?
What do you mean? My kids?
Like,
My car, I paid for it.
I know, but like,
I let them drive it and give them permission.
so like, recently my friend got in a crash, and his parent, like, the insurance is under his parents' name. So did his like parents get back the money, or?
Probably to recoup on damages to the vehicle, plus they're responsible also for the medical expenses. So, your friend get injured, bad?
No, he didn't.
Not bad. But there could be injuries that result later. Good. Any other questions about insurance? We're going to look at some insurance questions out of the driver's guide. It's in the section on before you drive. Why? Because before you drive, you have to have that insurance coverage. Absolutely. Okay? Go ahead and grab a book.
His car speeds out.